Okay, today we're going to look at some of the different kinds of Hall-Scott builder's plates, the serial number plates that you can collect. This first one we're going to look at is pre-1945. The way you can tell that is because it says Hall-Scott Motor Car Company, and they're a division of American Car and Foundry Motors, and that would be before 1945. In 1945, two companies, the ACF Motors Company was merged with the J.G. Brill Company to form the ACF Brill Motors Company, and that's different than what you see here. Now, here we have the after 1945, but before 1948, and this says Hall-Scott Motor Car Company still, but it's a division of ACF Brill Motors Company. That means after 1945. But the Hall-Scott Motor Car Company ended. The company was still the same company, but they changed their name in around 1948, as I remember correctly. Another thing is a 180-1. If you know your engines, there were certain years that was built, so that's another way to check what something is. Then this one here says Hall-Scott, and then down below it says Hall-Scott Motor Division, as a division of ACF Brill Motors Company. This particular plate's a little bit beat up. I got this one at Firestone Motors out near Harrisburg, and it was on an engine that was laying on the side of a truck. I asked somebody at Red Hill if he knew anybody had Hall-Scott Motors, and he said, yeah, there was a guy at Firestone Motors bought some tank retrievers which had Hall-Scott engines in them, huge Hall-Scott engines in them, and so I went out there and looked around. I found the tank retrievers, but the man told me that he had some of these laying on their side inside of a truck. So I went over and I bought this plate here. It's kind of interesting because it has all kind of information about oil changes, crankshaft, ignition, chains being tight, lubrication numbers, and stuff like that. And I had never seen it. I don't know. If this was a special military order and they wanted this all put on there, because it was right next to the liquidation base, which is right next to Firestone Motors out in near Harrisburg, New Cumberland. So I'm not sure about that, but anyway, this has the new name, Hall-Scott Motors Division of the ACF Brill Company. Now, after this, Hall-Scott was spun off from ACF Brill Motors in 1954. So from 1954 to 1958, there are a bunch of builder's plates that just say Hall-Scott Motors, Hall-Scott Motor Company, something like that. And I don't have one of those. Someday I'll get one, but that would tell you, if it just said Hall-Scott Motors with no division, then it's going to be when they were a separate company between 1954 and 1958.